Today I'm going to tell you about an individual who at the age of 23 in 2 decades accomplished more than most people do in their whole lifetime, according to his source Dorothy Herman. Imagine desperately wanting to communicate but you could not talk. You could feel the fresh air and the warm sunshine. However, you could not see it or even hear the wind blowing outside on a beautiful spring day. This is what it must have been like for Helen Keller. Today I'll be discussing her. I'll talk about her early years, Anne Sullivan's influence on her life, and Helen's accomplishments. What were Helen Keller's early years like? Helen Adams Keller was born healthy like any other child. She began walking at age 1. At 19 months, she became ill with what was known as scarlet fever. Due to this, she lost her sight and hearing, and after she recovered, she was unable to speak, according to Donnie Feeney. Helen's father had Helen working with Alexander Graham Bell, who advised him to get her into the Perkins Institute for the Blind. This is where Helen met with Anne Perkins, who later became known as the miracle worker, according to Donna Feeney. What was Anne Sullivan's influence? In time, with Anne Sullivan's teaching, Helen not only learned to read Braille, Anne taught her hand sign language in English, Spanish, and German, according to Dorothy Herman. Helen Keller was a strong-willed and determined woman to overcome her disability. With Anne's help, Helen soon entered into college, and she was the first deaf and blind person to receive a bachelor's degree, according to Columbia Electronic Encyclopedia. She graduated from Radcliffe University with honors in 1904. Helen accomplished amazing things in her lifetime and supported many humanitarian causes. What were Helen's accomplishments? According to Dorothy Herman, Helen had made great strides in her humanitarian causes in her work. Helen wrote books and articles, and she was a motivated speaker as well. Helen was a supporter of the women's suffrage movement, reform workers' rights, and she helped establish the American Foundation for the Blind, according to Georgia Cleage. Helen helped in the founding of the American Civil Liberties Union. She also helped organize the Commission for the Blind in 30 states in 1937, according to Britannica biographies. Helen Keller is the most well-known advocate for Americans with disabilities, according to Donna Feeney. Helen spent the rest of her life advocating for people with disabilities and her patronage for civil rights and civil liberties, according to Georgia Cleage. As you can see, Helen Keller was a motivated woman who inspired many others with her courageous life story and is known for her inspirational role in American history. In conclusion, today I've told you about Helen Keller, Anne Sullivan's influence on her life, and Helen Keller's accomplishments. I will close with a quote from Helen Keller that I gathered from a source, Donna Feeney. A person who is severely impaired never knows their hidden source of strength until he is treated like a human being and taught to shape his own life.